The rapid, safe, and cost-effective treatment of human bleeding is a growing multi-billion-dollar opportunity. Gel-E is using advanced materials to design a product line that will meet the wound treatment needs of the next generation. Since we cannot predict the future with absolute accuracy, we've included this disclaimer concerning disclosures we make today being under a safe harbor. No one likes to bleed. In fact, it is hard to imagine any circumstance where the rapid, clean, and safe treatment of almost any wound is not of top priority. Gel-E's technology platform offers a broad solution to managing virtually any cut, scrape, incision, or even traumatic injury you may have. From high-performance first aid to low-cost surgical sealant, Gel-E's products can safely arrest a bleed regardless of size, shape, or position on or in the body. What may be even more interesting is that these products are cost-effective, safe to use, highly durable in practice, and require no clinical prep time. One of the neatest things about our story is that Gel-E is highly programmable. This means we can design products tailored specifically to meet desired clinical specifications across a wide continuum of bleeding events. When the broad spectrum of injuries and surgeries that lead to bleeding are examined, Gel-E can be made into foams for military and other traumatic injuries, patches to close the vascular site after cardiac surgery, gels for surgery, dressings and films for chronic wounds, and badges for routine cuts and scrapes, especially for individuals on blood thinners. Building on our first FDA clearance, Gel-E is expanding our label to broadly cover almost any type of external wound while developing a pipeline of surgical products that can be rapidly evaluated for efficacy and internal safety, allowing Gel-E to service the wound treatment needs of almost every person on Earth. The foundation for our business is an established technology platform. We have patented our products, trademarked our core brand, and are expanding our patent estate to include novel chemistries and new high-value applications. Our team and collaborators have been supported by almost $2 million in grant financing to develop a variety of products and publish on their performance in numerous prestigious journals. This work has also supported our first FDA clearance, a recent FDA submission, and the early characterization of surgical product candidates. The path we've chosen to develop our platform and first products is well chronicled in numerous high-impact journals. Our team and collaborators have repeatedly published on the performance of our hemostatic devices across many challenging models of severe bleeding, often using study subjects whose blood has been intentionally compromised in its ability to naturally stem bleeding. These 7 peer-reviewed publications describe the maturization of our technology and form the foundation on which we are building our product line. Now, let's look at Gel-E in action. We're showing the results from a study we've recently completed to support an FDA submission, where the already cleared competitor's device is struggling to try and stop a porcine spleen laceration. Notice on the right that our gel is easily applied and rapidly stops the same laceration without the need of compression. Gel-E has followed a strategy that leverages the experience from our cleared vascular closure device to a series of label expansions. Jelly's next few FDA submissions will allow the company to market a 21st century first aid kit comprised of bandages and gels that are designed to treat external wounds, burns, and lacerations. Once in place, Jelly plans to expand use to patients on blood thinners and whose immune systems can benefit from the natural antimicrobial characteristics of our core technology. By taking the strategy of working from outside in, we can use our external hemostatics program to develop a line of over-the-counter and prescription products, while simultaneously de-risking the expansion into a lucrative surgical program. Jelly has already developed prototypic powders, gels, and foams for surgical use, the most advanced of which is the subject of a recent grant award from the Department of Defense. By taking this graduated approach, we can accelerate the development of higher margin surgical products while leveraging the FDA evaluation and clearance of products that service large over-the-counter and other external wound markets. Our first FDA-cleared product is a device used to stop arterial bleeding after an interventional or diagnostic cardiology procedure. Over 15 million of these procedures are performed worldwide each year. The challenge in stopping this type of bleed comes from the high level of anticoagulants each patient is given just prior to the procedure. These treatments are critical in order to reduce the risk of inadvertent clotting while the clinician is undertaking the procedure. If the procedure goes well, the patient will likely be released in about 3 hours, once they have reached stable hemostasis to allow them to get up and safely leave the clinic. Unfortunately, at times, the compression on a patient's wrist necessary to achieve hemostasis results in an occlusion or other adverse event require additional treatment and even a longer stay in the hospital. Vascular Jelly has been designed to improve the patient's experience while reducing the burden on the clinic. By reducing the time of hemostasis and ambulation, the clinic can complete more procedures each day with essentially the same fixed costs. The efficacy of this hemostasis is likely to require reduced compression and hence reduced risks on these patients, collectively increasing the clinic's throughput while getting patients home to their families more rapidly. Jelly was able to develop its technology platform, achieve proof of concept with the US FDA, while being recognized by its peers as an innovator in this space. All using only non-dilutive grants and awards, until just recently. In July, we announced the closing of a first preferred equity financing where the company raised over $3 million. In parallel, Jelly has continued to attract new grant funding, and in combination, this should allow us to achieve clearance of new FDA submissions, establish CGMP compliant manufacturing for our core API and our vascular closure device, develop and preclinically evaluate our first in-man ready surgical hemostat, and partner our already FDA cleared vascular closure product. We believe by putting this capital to work, that Jelly will be well positioned for a follow-on raise that could support the growth of our business, and in particular the human clinical trials necessary to validate the internal safety and efficacy of our surgical products. Putting these achievements into context is important to understanding the investment opportunity that Jelly affords. As we project Jelly's growth, mindful of the milestones we've just discussed, and then put this in the frame of such milestones' historic impact on the success of other hemostatic companies, we can start to plot the valuation inflections in Jelly's future. Even now, Jelly looks a bit like a company with a very intriguing surgical sealant, ARC Therapeutics. ARC has an interesting peptide approach that has recently been evaluated for the first time in man through a 50-patient clinical study in Europe. With the recent news of expanding their technology into external wounds, ARC has garnered an enterprise value of over $120 million. If we move our vantage point slightly forward to the time when Jelly has begun to generate some early partner-enabled revenues, the company will look more like Closure, which was valued at approximately $160 million, after achieving $1.5 million in annual top line, eventually being acquired for almost $500 million, based in large measure on their surgical hemostatic program. Now, if we look even further into the future, if we choose the point where Jelly will have additional FDA-cleared products and associated sales, the company would look more like Metaphor, which was purchased by C.R. Bard for approximately $300 million, based predominantly on an FDA clearance of their potato starch surgical powder. Finally, if we project out of the point of having more established sales and a cleared surgical product, Armrix is a good comp, purchased by J&J for approximately $450 million. Saving the absolute best for last, Jelly has been able to recruit and engage an experienced and domain-focused team. With the help of a group of key clinical advisors, this team brings many years of life science management and guiding early-stage device platforms to success. Testament to the opportunity that is Jelly. The entire team worked only for sweat equity until closing on the recent preferred round. By now, it is likely obvious that Jelly is a unique company. In the next few years, the efforts of our team will be focused on the development and commercialization of products that will forever alter the way we treat injuries, reducing the costs and time associated with wound management across a number of multi-billion-dollar markets. We look forward to hearing from you and sharing more about our company and vision for its global impact.